Welcome back, dear listeners, to Simple Mind Space. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that's both fascinating and a bit unsettling: the strange similarities between modern office life and wartime sabotage tactics. You heard that right. We're about to explore how strategies designed to cripple enemy operations during World War II have, in some ways, become the mundane reality of our daily grind. Intrigued? You should be. Let's get started. Our story starts with a thought-provoking question posed by economist John Maynard Keynes back in the 1930s. He envisioned a future where technological advancements would lead to a 15-hour work week, a world of leisure made possible by automation and robotic efficiency. Sounds dreamy, right? So what happened? Why are we still clocking in for 40, 50, or even 60 hours a week when the promise of a 15-hour work week seems within reach? Well, instead of robots taking over the drudgery, we've witnessed an explosion of administrative and managerial positions. Think about it. Supervisors, coordinators, analysts, the list goes on. These roles, often perceived as essential for managing the complexities of modern businesses, have ballooned to represent a staggering 75% of employment, up from a mere 25% in Keynes's time. But here's the kicker. This surge in office jobs hasn't translated to increased happiness or fulfillment. In fact, it's often the opposite. Countless individuals report feeling trapped in a cycle of meaningless tasks, endless meetings, and suffocating bureaucracy. It's almost as if we've taken a page from a World War II sabotage manual and unknowingly applied it to our own workplaces. Don't believe me? Let's examine some classic sabotage techniques outlined in those wartime manuals and see if they sound eerily familiar. First up, creating confusion and inefficiency. The manual suggests giving wrong instructions, muddling up systems, and holding unnecessary meetings. Sound like any workplace you know? Think about those convoluted approval processes, the endless email chains that lead nowhere, and those meetings where nothing gets decided. It's enough to make even the most patient soul question their sanity. Next, undermining morale and motivation. The manual advises spreading discontent and promoting a sense of futility. Again, sound familiar? This is where those soul-crushing workloads, lack of recognition, and constant fear of layoffs come into play. It's a recipe for burnout, disengagement, and a workforce that's just going through the motions. Now, let's talk about leadership, or rather the lack thereof. The Sabotage Manual encourages the promotion of incompetent individuals to positions of authority. This creates a ripple effect of poor decision-making, stifled creativity, and a general sense of distrust in those at the helm. Think about those managers who seem to have been promoted based on seniority rather than actual leadership skills. They might be great at following orders, but they lack the vision, empathy, and communication skills to inspire and motivate their teams. And finally, let's not forget the role of language. The manual emphasizes the importance of using vague and ambiguous language to create confusion and sow discord. This tactic is alive and well in the corporate world, where jargon-filled presentations and meaningless buzzwords often mask a lack of substance and clear direction. So how did we get here? How did we end up transforming our workplaces into breeding grounds for burnout and disengagement? One contributing factor is the rise of the modern corporation. In the latter half of the 20th century, companies began prioritizing shareholder value above all else. Employees, once viewed as valuable assets, were increasingly seen as expendable resources, mere cogs in a machine designed for maximum profit. This shift in mindset led to a relentless focus on efficiency and productivity, often at the expense of employee well-being. Performance metrics, standardized procedures, and constant surveillance became the norm, creating a work environment that felt more like a factory floor than a place where people could thrive and contribute their unique talents. Another factor is the increasing pressure to demonstrate success, even if it's superficial. CEOs and executives, often incentivized by stock options and shareholder expectations, feel compelled to constantly show growth and progress. This leads to a culture of short-termism, where long-term vision and sustainability take a back seat to quick wins and impressive quarterly reports. The result? A never-ending cycle of reorganizations, restructurings, and strategic pivots, each one touted as the key to unlocking unprecedented success, but often leaving a trail of exhausted and demoralized employees in their wake. So where do we go from here? How do we break free from this self-sabotaging cycle and create workplaces that are both productive and fulfilling? The first step is acknowledging the problem. We need to stop pretending that burnout and disengagement are simply personal failings and recognize them for what they are: systemic issues rooted in outdated management practices and a corporate culture that prioritizes profit over people. Next, we need to rethink our definition of success. It's time to move beyond a narrow focus on financial metrics and start valuing things like employee well-being, creativity, and social impact. This means creating workplaces that offer autonomy, flexibility, and opportunities for growth and development. It means fostering a culture of trust, respect, and open communication, where employees feel valued for their unique contributions and empowered to bring their whole selves to work. We also need to invest in developing effective leaders, individuals who understand the importance of creating a supportive and inspiring work environment, who prioritize collaboration over competition, and who recognize that a happy and engaged workforce is not a luxury, but a competitive advantage. Finally, we need to challenge the notion that work has to be soul-crushing. It's time to reclaim the joy and satisfaction that comes from doing work that matters, work that aligns with our values, and work that allows us to make a positive impact on the world. This might seem like a daunting task, but it's a challenge we must embrace. The future of work depends on our willingness to question the status quo, to challenge outdated assumptions, and to create workplaces that are both productive and humane. It's time to rewrite the rules of the game, to ditch the sabotage manual, and to create a world where work is no longer a source of stress and burnout, but a source of meaning, purpose, and fulfillment. Thank you for joining us on this thought-provoking journey. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, share, and subscribe to Simple Mind Space for more insightful conversations about mastering your money, your mind, and your life. Until next time, stay curious and keep striving for a better future.